In 2015 and the first months of 2016, almost 1.2 million refugees and migrants reached European shores, many of them in the hands of smugglers. Some were political refugees. Others fled from conflicts or left their countries in search of better economic opportunities. How should Switzerland react?
It would be a catastrophe if no migrants were accepted. But we also can't accept too many. We can't accept billions of them. And we know that only some of them are political refugees facing persecution. We should let these in. We have to. But there are many prosperous migrants, and we have to do something about them.
Frey suggests that anyone who is prepared to pay an entrance fee should be allowed to come. They would thus make a financial contribution towards their integration. This membership would allow them to fly to Switzerland. The journey would be safe and regulated. After arriving here, they would be allowed to look for work, which would take a lot of strain off the social security system. But if the criteria for entrance is simply financial, wouldn't Switzerland be overwhelmed with applicants?
No, I don't think so. Most people would prefer to stay in their own countries. In our experience, about 50% return home once the situation in a conflict-affected country has improved.
Frey says it's a win-win situation. Once an applicant has bought a Swiss entrance certificate, they're part of society and benefit from the infrastructure and the social security system. Integrated people also help to finance the pension system. But what if migrants can't or don't want to integrate?
We would avoid this by requiring a certificate of integration that has to be paid for. This would limit the number of people who come here and do nothing. They have a good incentive to work.
But is there enough work in Switzerland for less qualified job seekers?
In Switzerland, there are many jobs requiring less qualified people. Most restaurants would close down if it weren't for foreign labour. They're needed in the kitchens and as waiting staff.
But
won't the presence of thousands of poorly qualified workers necessarily lead to the undercutting of wages?
It's unavoidable, but it has to be discussed on a political level. To what extent do we want this competition, and perhaps also this repression? Either we look for ways to make things better, or another alternative is not to let anyone in at all, and we don't want that either.
But what if Switzerland reaches the limits of its capacity to absorb people and cannot integrate any more migrants?
If the price is high enough, fewer people will come. If it's low, more will come. And Switzerland will have to decide how many foreigners and refugees it wants to accept.
So voters should decide how much the admission fee for Switzerland should be. Frey's model is revolutionary and not likely to gain widespread support in the present political climate. Nonetheless, radical ideas are needed to break the deadlock in migration policy. Voters need to play a role in deciding how much we can and want to help, and what kind of Switzerland we want to live in.